Okay, this is just a really early morning hike. Just up here in the woods. Thought I'd just check out some of these old drift mine remains here going back to the 1880s. The rail bed and the loading tip were way down there, and it's hard to see the remains of the tramway bed, but they probably had a little wooden trestle that crossed this creek, and it went up on the high side of the other side of the what you call the finger down to the rough loading tipple for the railroad. But this was just like I said, old drift mine remains going back to the 1880s. It's kind of pretty overgrown back in here. It's nothing really significant, but it's just a series of drift mines on either side of this finger in this ravine. They were flanked on either side, but just figured I'd just check it out. What the heck? I mean, they're all closed anyway, but nonetheless. So it could have been another entry up there, but definitely this was the entry right here. It went after the ore seam. They went horizontal up under this ridge line, what they call the finger, to extract the ore. So anyway, it's a pretty sizable drift mine, I'll say that. You can see the water and everything that's come off. It makes it look like it's open, but it's not. But anyway, there's I think one more over here and a couple more, and then just we'll slowly make our way up over the top of the ridge, the finger as you want to call it, down to another series of old red ore drift mines going back to the 1880s. So all right, a little chilly up here this morning, but peaceful. Okay, so we got the remains of one drift mine right here, and it went this way, horizontal up under this finger, going after the ore seam. And the little mine cart rails will be right here. I'm sure they probably had some kind of a little wooden trestle, because you've got this creek right here that runs pretty bad when it rains. So I'm sure it was elevated to keep above this creek or runoff, heading down here, joining up with the one I just came from, heading down to the loading dock for the railroad. And you've got another one right here, remains of one that would go horizontal back up over this high ridge, the finger right here. So these are the most significant up here, but when we leave, we'll just kind of make our way up slowly up this way. It's, you know, it may not look like it's steep, but in actuality, it's a pretty steep climb. So just take it slow and easy. So, but anyway, these are just a couple old drift mine remains right here going back to the 1880s. So I may just go down there and take a quick peek. Looks like there's a little hole, but all these are going to be closed up anyway. So okay, after we see that, we'll start heading on up over. Okay, this is another one right here that's just above the one I just came from. Like I said, they go all the way up the mountain. There's another one up ahead, but this was, like I said, it was like a stair-step going all the way up the mountain here. They would just have them at every 60 feet or so, drift mines going right into the side of the ridge line right here. And might be kind of hard to tell, but that's the remains of a little rock retaining wall, because they had the tramway line right here. So little rock retaining wall is right there. So there was a upper tramway bed right here. So there was a higher tramway bed and a lower one further down in the ravine. So like I said, you got the little remains of the stone retaining wall or rock retaining wall. You've got one more right there, but I'm not going to try to get to that one. That one's closed, but we'll just start heading up over this direction. So, okay, but that's just the remains of another drift mine here going back to the 1880s. Okay, so crest of the mountain is up this way and repositioned from the drift mines way on the far side of that ridge over there in the finger. Came over here, a little bit of a walk, but going all the way down, flanking this side of the ravine, is a series of drift mines heading all the way to near the bottom to where it'll meet a tramway line. So these mines right here in this area go back to the late 1880s, early 1890s. And it's, you know, of course, impossible to see with the sun, but all on the other side of this ravine, flanked on the other side by that finger on the mountain, is a series of open cut mining remains and several big drift mines. But here, it's kind of hard to tell with the sun, but the remains of this little low stone stacked wall here in an L shape, it would have gone all the way around. This is the remains of what was called the sheave hoist pulley right here. And they would have a hoist cable that would be stationed up here with an operator, maybe even two, and this was probably covered up with a wooden building to keep the operator out of the elements, but it would be mounted right here, and it would be roughly about 1,000 feet, maybe half an inch in diameter, the hoist cable width. And what it would do is it would run all the way down, and there would be a set of two carts or two mine tracks right here, tramway rail tracks, and they used what was called a gravity plane system. So whereby the miners would push out a fully loaded ore cart, they would put it on this angled mine cart carrier, and you could fit two at one time. And when the hoist operator got a signal, I'm not sure how they got a signal up here because there was no electricity up here at this time, but they had it down to a science. When the fully loaded ore carts would start going down the mountain, the trajectory of the weight going down would cause two empties to come back up. And this guy had it down to a science. He would know where to stop those empty ore carts coming up, and the miners would push them off the rail platform carrying the empties, and that's what they would use to push into the mine to start extracting more ore underground. But anyway, it's a little bit of a walk going down, but there's remains of nice stone, stacked rock stone walls at the entrance of each of the drift mine remains, so it's pretty impressive. But this is the remains of the hoist cable foundation right here, and they're pretty rare to find. There's only a few in existence, the remains of them. So, all right, so the little hoist cable foundations for this mine are way back up there. So this is your first rock stone retaining wall, and the rail lines would have been right here. There would have been two of them. It's kind of hard to even tell right now, but there would have been two right here. These weren't, you know, big. These were just little shallow draft mine carts right here. But this is your first stone rock retaining wall, whatever you want to say. And it's still in place from where the miners stacked this going back to late 1880s, early 1890s. I'll try to see if I can keep this out of the sun right here. But this will be like this all the way down the mountain, but that is the remains of a drift mine. And it was probably about 5-6 feet in height, probably about 8 feet in width for the opening. So there would have been a little elevated wooden trestle right here, little platform, and the miners would have just rolled the mine carts right out onto that other rail platform where they could put two mine carts on this platform, and it would stay level as it went all the way down the mountain on the tracks. But I'll just film a few of these because there's quite a few of these going down the mountain, but this is another one right here. Right there. That's perfectly preserved. Sometimes you might find a miner's initial either on the sides of the drift mine remains or maybe even on one of these rocks right here. So, and it'll just keep going down this way. Right on the other side of that fallen tree is the remains of another drift mine. So they're about, well, usually they're about every 60 feet. These could be even about 40 to 50 feet apart. So we'll just keep making our way on down towards the bottom. Okay, we're just still moving on down the tramway line, angled tramway line right here. We got the remains of another stacked rock wall, which indicates mine opening was right there. I think that's a huge tree that's, oh man, who knows how old that tree is. 60, 70 years old, maybe even older. But there wasn't a lot of top cover for these drift mines the higher up you went. So most of the times when they were done getting the ore out, and every one of these drift mines connected with little passageways they called upstarts, to where you could actually stay in the mine and work your way all the way down the mountain or all the way up the mountain, whatever your pleasure. But once they were done with that, they would extract the walls, and they were done with that mine. They were never going to come back to, and eventually, you know, gravity takes over, and it just collapses the drift mine because they're never going to use it again. But that is one old tree right there. But anyway, this is just the remains of another old drift mine, and we're just going to continue making our way on down. It's not too much further, and there's the remains of a tramway tunnel. I'll see if I can get to it further down the mountain here. So okay, you got the remains of a stacked rock wall right there, cornered, and this was a drift mine entry right here. And the further down you get, you can tell that the dull red, that's the ore seam. So the further down you get, the more discernible and thicker the ore seam will be versus up top. So you'll have more recognizable mine opening remains. So, and this is the remains of another one right here. that's where the mine opening would have been. It's kind of hard to believe, but anyway, this is there's another one right down there, and this was almost near the bottom of the gravity plane rail system here, tramway system set up. And they would have had a loading dock down here or a transfer dock, and the tramway line would just take it right to the tunnel, through the tunnel, along this tramway bed on the other side of the finger, the ridge line you want to say, and probably the mules would just, you know, haul the mine carts all the way down to the loading tipple. So, but all the way over there is the remains of open cut mining and some drift mines way further back on that flank over there. I'm not going to do that. So, all right, and we'll see if we can find this tunnel again. Okay, and this is the remains of another drift mine here, just a little bit further down. A couple of more extra than I remembered. So anyway, it's hard to believe that the opening would have been right there. So, all right, and then you've got another one right here. Now this would have gone out on a lower tramway system. They would have headed down in between these ridge lines here, and they had, I think, three different loading tipples for 3 different tramway lines for this mine. So, and over there is the remains of a big drift mine opening. Of course, like I said, everything up here is sealed a long time ago. So, and the tunnel should be right over there, looking right into the sun. Let's see if I can get over there. Okay, trying to make my way over there to that tunnel, but this is the remains of another drift mine entry right here on the lower level. Like I said, they had 3 different tramway lines for this mine. So there's the stack rock wall right there. So the tunnel, man, a lot of fallen trees around here. The tunnel would be just behind that, I think, if I remember, behind that tree. So anyway, all right. Okay, so boy, some serious overgrowth. I haven't been up here in years. Lots of fallen trees. Wow. Thick underbrush, way more than I remember. But anyway, this is the cut right here for the minecart tunnel, and they would have had some kind of a wooden trestle, tramway trestle, that went over those 2 other drift mines below. And this was the highest tramway line that was dedicated for all those drift mines going up the side of the mountain on that one side. So this was the tramway line for those drift mines. The ones down below and the ones across there, they had 2 separate tramway lines for them. So, but this is this is where you wish the sun wasn't out. But for whatever reason, the miners or engineers, when they were constructing this mine site, instead of just cutting, making like a haulage way cut through the side of the ridge, they decided to make a tunnel. Maybe it kept them out of the elements when it was raining or snowing. But this is the remains of it. I don't even know if you can even look into it anymore except for the opening. But I got another huge tree right there. I tell you, man, any high wind gets that. Not a lot of stability for that tree. It's just going to go over. But you can see they just cut this out with picks, maybe some dynamite, and just cut it out to make this tunnel. And it was tall enough back then for mules to be able to, you know, haul the mine carts through. So I did bring a flashlight here. Let's see what it looks like. I don't feel like getting dirty, but I'll just shine a light in there. Once you get that red ore on you, man, it just doesn't come off that easy. So I'll take a look into the tunnel. I brought a light, and when I leave, I'll just climb back up and go to the other side. So, but nice little piece of mining history. You don't see a minecart haulage-way tunnel too often. Okay, well, I just came in a little ways here. Wasn't too bad. But anyway, this is the remains of the haulage-way tunnel right here for the mine carts. And it was pretty roomy at one time. So and it would have just headed out to the other side, and there's kind of a tramway rail line cut, and then the tramway bed starts slowly descending down the other side of the ridge, far side of the ridge, to the loading tipples. But this is the haulage-way tunnel of this mine right here. So anyway, not much to look at, but still nice piece of mining history here. So okay, and go and get on up out of here, make our way on the other side, and go ahead and wrap this up for a little drift mine hike outing here. All right. Okay, well, that's a nice little view from the top right there, and the minecart rails would have been right there leading into the tunnel. Like I said, it's weird. You don't have really any top cover here. I mean, I guess maybe somebody thought back then it'd be cool to construct a tunnel, because you, like I said, you sure don't have any top cover too much anyway. So anyway, this is the other side right here, and you can see how deep this cut is right here. That's where the minecart tracks would have been, right there. So, and that's the entrance, or the other side right there. So this is probably about, maybe back in the day, 7 feet high. You know, it'd have to be for the mules to haul these mine carts. And of course, when they were done, way down there at the bottom of the loading tipple for the railroad, you know, the mules would have to haul the empties back up here. So, but anyway, yeah, nice little piece of mining history here. Just totally forgotten. Twist my way around some of this stuff. Anyway, it's a pretty sizable, you see right there, it's a pretty sizable haulage way cut. And it just, once it clears that cut, the tramway line's discernible when it'll start making its way all the way down the mountain there. And this is when you wish the sun wasn't out. But just staring directly into the sun here, this is the turn the tramway line made for the mine carts, and there's a tramway bed hugging the side of this ravine, the flank, and it just, you can actually follow that all the way down to the bottom to where the rail line remains are. And so this is it. The other two minecart tramway lines I mentioned are way on the other side in that deep ravine on this finger, from the other side of this finger. So anyway, well, that's a nice little morning outing. Get to see a little bit of mining history. I just thought I'd video it, and you know, document coming back to this site. You know, never know when I'll be back. Anyway, nice piece of mining history.